mama song. I got the bomb, I got the bomb, the bomb, the bomb, bomb. Apreta I, apreta awe, mora baba, mora yo, mabital, wise, so sa I, so sa awe, mang awe, goldi, goldaso, iso,
Sports, I'm David Schuster. If you like your NFL games to be decided in exciting fashion and on the final play, well, then what happened outside our nation's capital on Sunday was for you. Craig Heist has the details on the Commanders and the Bears.
Jaden Daniels threw a 52-yard Hail Mary touchdown pass to Noah Brown as the clock ran out to give the Commanders an 18-15 win over the Bears, snapping Chicago's 3-game winning streak. Daniels was under heavy pressure, ran around, but got the pass off, getting it tipped at the goal line before it landed in Brown's hands in the end zone.
I know we don't give up to the final whistle, and it's just phenomenal effort on all sides. Offense struggled a little bit, defense kept us in the game, and offense found a way to pull through at the end.
Austin Seibert kicked 4 field goals for the Commanders. The Bears scored on a 56-yard touchdown run by DeAndre Swift late in the third quarter and a 1-yard touchdown run by Rashawn Johnson with 23 seconds to go.
From Washington, we go to Motown, where Denny Cap needed an adding machine to keep up with all the scoring by the hometown Lions.
Khalif Raymond scores a pair of touchdowns as the Lions blast the Titans 52-14. Detroit's defense forced 4 turnovers while the special teams contributed with multiple 50-plus yard returns to give the Lions offense a short field all afternoon long. Raymond returned a punt 90 yards for a touchdown and caught one of Jared Goff's 3 touchdown tosses.
Just to be playing such a team game is so fun. Special teams, defense, takeaways, offense, pushing it in. It's just really fun to be part of a football team like that.
The Lions posted 50 points for the 4th time in franchise history and the first time since 1997, winning their 5th in a row to improve to 6-1. Calvin Ridley paced the Titans offense with 9 catches for 143 yards. Tennessee dropped its 3rd straight, falling to 1-6.
Dave Ferry is up next, and he also witnessed a lot of scoring between Atlanta and Tampa Bay.
Kirk Cousins threw for 276 yards and 4 touchdowns in the Falcons' 31-26 victory over the Buccaneers.
I took all 3 phases, people making plays, the turnovers by our defense, special teams, and then made some plays on offense.
Cousins hit Kyle Pitts for TDs of 36 and 49 yards, and he also found Darnell Mooney and Bijan Robinson for scores. Mooney and Pitts each had over 90 receiving yards, and Robinson ran for 63 yards on 13 carries. Baker Mayfield passed for 330 yards and 3 touchdowns, but he also had 2 costly interceptions that helped the 5-3 Falcons take over the NFC South lead at 5-3. The Bucs are 4-4.
Plenty of close games on Sunday. Here's Gethin Kulba on New England's 25-22 victory over the New York Jets.
Jacoby Brissett led a game-winning 12-play, 70-yard drive that ended with Ramondre Stevenson's 1-yard touchdown run. Brissett finished 15 of 24 for 132 yards for 2-6 New England. Braylon Allen's 2-yard rushing score with 2:57 left made it 22-17 New York. Aaron Rodgers passed for 233 yards and 2 touchdowns in 2-6 New York's 5th straight loss.
A lot of quarterbacks put up big numbers on Sunday, including Kyler Murray over 300 yards in Arizona's 28-27 victory over Miami.
Today was one of our better days, probably the best day we've had, since the Rams game, but it's about being consistent, and I think that's where we can, that's where we take strides, is if we can continue to do this and play the way we played today. It wasn't perfect, but if we continue to grow on this, then, we can be up there.
Rookie Bo Nix threw 3 TD passes, Denver doubling up Carolina 28-14.
Kind of caught a good rhythm there, and everybody on the field was making plays. Receivers, tight ends, running backs, didn't matter. The ball was being dispersed to a lot of positions, and I thought that's good. Tough on a defense when you're getting a lot of guys involved.
Elsewhere, Kansas City now 7-0 after beating Las Vegas 27-20, Philadelphia 37-17 over Cincinnati. Jameis Winston with 3 TD passes, Cleveland surprising Baltimore 29-24. Green Bay a late field goal to beat Jacksonville 30-27. Houston 23-20 over Indianapolis. The LA Chargers 26-8 over New Orleans. Buffalo down Seattle 31-10, and San Francisco a 30-24 winner over Dallas. College football, this week's AP Top 5, Oregon, followed by Georgia, Penn State, Ohio State, and Miami. Coming up, we have baseball news, hockey, basketball, and auto racing. Game 3 of the World Series comes up on Monday night with the venue changing to New York. The Dodgers leading the Yankees 2-0, and Shohei Ohtani is expected to play in spite of injuring his shoulder in Game 2. NBA on Sunday, Tyrese Maxey scoring 45 points. Philadelphia downing Indiana 118-114. Brooklyn besting Milwaukee 115-102. Portland stopping New Orleans 125-103. Oklahoma City now 3-0 after running past Atlanta 128-104. And the LA Clippers beat Golden State State 112-104. WNBA, the Indiana Fever fired their head coach Christy Sides. NHL, Montreal 4-3 over Philadelphia. New Jersey 6-2 over Anaheim. Edmonton edged Detroit 3-2, and Colorado 5-4 over Ottawa. Finally, in auto racing, Tyler Reddick won on the NASCAR circuit. I'm David Schuster, AP Sports.
Good morning, Marianas. So many things we gotta discuss. Happy day, Tirawami and greetings to Rhoda, Guam, Saipan, and Tinian. For all your island news from a beautiful place with Pacific views. It's always so much fun on Good Morning, Marianas.
It is Tuesday, October 29th. Early voting starts today. Can you believe it? After months and months and months of billboards and bibas and free chesa and cerveza, we are here. Early voting starts today here in the Marianas. And you can see out there, that's a live look at traffic in Oleai on Beach Road. Traffic not an issue there at all because it's actually there. Look at cars moving in both directions. Not sure which lane really counts as the proper lane, but who cares? It's Thunderdome, baby. We can go and use whatever lanes we want. I think that's kind of the unofficial thing. That traffic segment brought to you by GPPC. GPPC, good people pouring concrete. I'm not sure if that's what it actually stands for, but GPPC could stand for good people pouring concrete because that's what they seem to do and do a lot of. I'm not even against it. I'm great. You got to go with what you know. You got to go with what you know. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for being in here this morning. Once again, we're going to talk about your news, your sports, your traffic, your weather, you name it. We're going to put it all out there. We'll put it out there together. It's not a one and done thing. We're here. Whoa, that's a little coming in hot. And we're not coming in quite that hot. Anyway, great to see you guys. Let's before we get too far into it, let's take a look at traffic. And you can see that things are a little bit slowing down over there at the Chalon Monsignor Martinez, Chalon Monsignor Guerrero intersection, better known as the Shell Dandan intersection. It happens every day, but it's still early, 7:20, and you can see it's only slow a little bit past the broken down video store that has been broken down for at least 10 years. I think we're creeping up further than that. I think we're closer to 16 years now, somewhere in that area for sure. Anyway, but you can see it's starting to, they must have just hit a light, but that's going to happen as the day goes on. Always look for an alternate way because that is not the best way to go, but unless you get out really early. Just get out early, and that's not too bad. Another spot you can see on there over here on the far side is the Dandan intersection, or the Sam Senti intersection over where the Roundhouse used to be. There's always a buildup over there around this time, and it is not disappointing today. The other spots where the kind of hot spots is if you look over by IT&E. While their service might be fast, that intersection is not, and they have nothing to do with that. That's for sure. You can see it's already starting to build up just a little bit right at the Chalon Monsignor Guerrero and Chalon Paule Arnold Road. So Middle Road, where it meets the CMG, is not the place you want to be when it starts getting around 7:30, 7:45. And that is the case. How about over there at the AK intersection? Yep, slow again. I'll tell you what, if you're trying to take a left, if you're coming down the hill on CMG and you want to take a left to head south on Beach Road, that's a really tough spot because there's only one lane open to take that left. And it is not a long turn signal light. No, they pull you fast. So if you're not within the first 7-8 cars, you're done. And you might not even get through if you're like the 7th or 8th car. You know, it is a very fast light. So if you're trying to take a left, the alternate way is going through the neighborhood in Oleai right there. The only thing is, if you're going to do that, remember, that's not so that you can cruise through fast. That's so you can get through without getting stuck at the light. But remember, you're going through people's neighborhoods. You can't be crazy going through there. The other place that is not fun to drive in, oh, that never disappoints either. Coming down from Chalumpiao over there by Golden Ribbon, Subway, the mobile station down at the bottom of Beach Road, and Tun Joaquin Doi. I'll tell you what, Route 32, if you will. So it's not Tun Joaquin Doi. That's the one that cruises through by the post office. This one is not. This is like that As Perdido Road, I think. Anyway, when you get down there by the intersection, it's crap. It's true. It's not a great intersection because of all the construction. They took another lane away. They haven't finished the other lanes. Why are they digging up other lanes? That's another problem for another day. Everything going north from there is kind of a mess too. But it gets a little bit better by Surfrider. No, not that much. It's still crummy roads all the way through. At least refreshingly, over there by Joten, it's not so bad right now. Yeah, I know. Over by Zoom Cafe and Joten is usually a lousy spot around this time. But right now, it's not so bad. So there's your quick traffic update brought to you by Good People Pouring Concrete, GPPC. And if that's not what it stands for, it shouldn't it? I mean, you're construction people. Good People Pouring Concrete. People would remember that. I think so. Anyway, we got a lot of news to get to today, but let's talk about the weather because it's 83 degrees outside right now. Humidity's at 85% up at the Saipan International Airport. We're looking at mostly sunny skies today. Whoa, when's the last time we heard that? With a high near 87. Winds out of the southeast, 10 to 14 miles per hour. Gusts as high as 22. It looks like a beautiful day. You can't ask for a better day than what we're going to be getting today. That is outstanding. I will take it 10 times out of 10. It is a perfect Saipan day today for early voting. Isolated showers tonight, partly cloudy skies, low near 77, and a nice leisurely wind out of the southeast, 6 to 9 miles per hour. All this week looks like it's going to be pretty good. We're looking at maybe isolated showers, but mostly cloudy, mostly sunny skies, and at night, partly cloudy skies. So that's what we've got for the week. So it's going to be a great week for voting. Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, the first person who gives me a tuna sandwich gets my vote. No, you are not bribing me with a tuna sandwich. But I like a good tuna sandwich. Is that not the best go-to sandwich? If there's a better sandwich than as a go-to that never lets you down, although I will say I have had a bad one next door. I'll tell you all about who it's from too. It was not a good sandwich. The bread was old. And I know old because I'm getting older this year. Seems like it happens every year. But this year, for sure, it's happening. I had a tuna sandwich next door, downtown market. It's not, I don't blame them because it wasn't them. It was Lucky R. Lucky R, you let me down. Now, I did eat the inside part of the sandwich. But the crust, the outside, I was so hungry, I ate it anyway. But that was some stale ass bread. It was not good. It got the job done. I ate the middle of the sandwich like a elementary school kid who doesn't like eating the crust. It was not good bread. You let me down. Other than that, for a $2 sandwich, you guys are pretty good. But it was not good that day. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry? It's accurate. I'm not bagging on you. It's not it's not bad. Hey, we're not going to get into football too much right now, but I'll tell you what, there was an awesome finish to the game yesterday between the Bears and Commanders. Chicago Bears had just scored a touchdown. And they're up by, it was 15-12. And after the Bears were not winning all game, they were losing all game. They finally score a touchdown, and they're winning. Hail Mary at the end. Tipped off of hands, all the way up, gets all the way into the wide receiver who's just sitting there by himself in the end zone, game-winning walk-off touchdown. Holy cow. Amazing finish, unless you're from Chicago. Washington fans going absolutely ham on the celebration because it was incredible. It was probably one of the most exciting finishes to a game this year. I could not believe what I saw in that. All right, let me get to you guys in the comments. By the way, I want to say thank you to all you guys for tuning in this morning. Eric, great to see you. Raymond Vincent, Vincent Raymond. One of these days I'll get it right. Tobot, my man. Great to see you. Louisa. Yeah, great to see you too. Piling. Great to see you this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in again today. Great to see you guys. All right. Well, we're going to keep moving on with our local news here. And perhaps one of the saddest things I've seen was, I mean, I needed something else to listen to. Hold on. Let me see if I have, here, go with this. It was a very sad thing to see in the as a press release that came out to us yesterday. It came out. I had to reach out to our guys, our colleagues, say, hey, is this verified? And then everybody who sent it over verified this also. But it's official. Come the end of the year, the Saipan Tribune is closing. And this is how they decided to relay that to the community, by putting out a business closure announcement. It says, and we're going to read it out. For more than 30 years, the Saipan Tribune has been a proud and reliable source of news for our island community and the Pacific region. Saipan Tribune covered historic events in the NMI, featured individuals and groups that created significant impact in our community, highlighted athletes' achievements and students' triumphs, and came up with other newsworthy stories that help shape public opinion and initiate changes and positive actions. While Saipan Tribune has delivered the kind of news stories our community deserved, shifts in media consumption patterns driven by advancements in technology have transformed how audiences access news and information. The increased availability of internet access and mobile devices has led consumers to demand instant information, prompting many industries to reshape their business models and move online. This change has redefined the need for the Saipan Tribune. In addition, unforeseen calamities in recent years and continuing local economic challenges have thwarted our best efforts to sustain the business. We are compelled to make this exceptionally difficult decision, so with a heavy heart, we would like to inform you that the Saipan Tribune will cease operations on December 31st, 2024. We are deeply grateful and proud of all members of the Saipan Tribune family, the editors, writers, photographers, graphic artists, delivery personnel, finance department, sales, and advertising team members. Their dedication and commitment have allowed the Saipan Tribune to advocate for press freedom and champion journalistic excellence in our region. We would also like to express our sincerest gratitude to all of our readers, advertisers, and community partners for their valuable support and trust. That came late last night, and it was such a sad message that came across the phone. It came across to, and then it became a big topic of conversation, of course, for all of the, the reporters here in the CNMI. We were talking about it, and just devastating. That's a bunch of. For other things. Oh, hold on one second. Hold on one second. It's devastating because we have just a handful of news outlets here. And we're losing one of them. And like legacy folks, right? They've been here for 30 years. So Louisa, I saw your comment there. Can't they just go fully digital? So sad. Do I see a merging of forces here? So I started that conversation last night with a couple of the reporters. Say, hey, let's get together and try and figure this thing out, because I think the exact same thing. And I messaged one of their executives, and I'm going to message more of them. Like, you have such a good base and a brand and everything. Why would you wad this up? Now, granted, the economics of it are a big deal. But they talked about it, one of the biggest issues that they have in here, right? And I think they just need to reimagine what it is and how they deliver news. The way that they were doing it, based on what they said in this thing, they said, hey, people want it now. They can get it everywhere now, so it doesn't fit with what we're doing, so we're going to close. All right, great. Change. change. You could stay in business, but you're going to have to cut some of the fat. Brad, were we talking about you or were we talking about the Tribune? I know. But look, the Tribune is still viable and it's still needed. It's still necessary. It's still important. It is another source of information. Free, unfettered journalism. You need that here. This is not a good sign for the CNMI to lose a newspaper, right? They just need to change how they're doing it. I mean, it's not like, so I don't know. I don't think it's any big mystery. It isn't. It's not like it's a hidden secret or anything. But the Saipan Tribune used to be printed on a Tan Holdings company's printing company. Well, that company went away. I forget what it was called, but we used to deal with them all the time. It was over in Kobler. And then it started being printed over at the Variety. So the Variety's been printing the Tribune. So the Tribune has been spending a lot of money on getting their paper printed and then distributing it and all that other stuff. That's the first thing you scrap. Stop the printing of it. One, you're not spending the money on it. And number two, you're not spending on the delivery. Then you got to reshape your sales because you're not doing all those big graphic ads for that kind of stuff. You just need to have a different way of delivering it by doing it all digital. You're going to get more readers there anyway. So how do you advertise without having the physical paper? I've thought about that because I've thought about that for us. And how do we make this work? Still delivering the news, still going out and doing all that other stuff, but just staying all digital. You can. And yes, it is viable. And you're going to be more nimble. You're going to be able to do all kinds of stuff doing it this way, where you're not weighed down by the bloat of the size of that company. You're going to spend less money. You're going to get more products out of your journalists. But here's the key. You have to give your reporters wings. You have to give them the ability to do more and post stuff faster. So, like, for instance, like, case in point, the news about the Tribune closing, which is the Tribune's story to tell, got out before their paper got out. It got out before their digital paper came out. If you want to be if you want to be relevant, you got to let the the reporters will tell you. Your editors and will tell you. Publishers might not be hip to it yet, but I'll tell you, your reporters and your editors know this. You can't get scooped on your own story, right? Like, it's sad. Like, you got to give your editors and your reporters wings. You got to give them the ability to post stuff in real time. Because when you don't, then you can lose your relevance a little bit. But you don't have to. You're going to win and lose on some of those things. That happens. But you could still do this. Tribune, can't friggin' believe it. You have such a great infrastructure to work with. And then, does it make smart business sense for Tan Holdings? Well, I mean, they're a multi-million-dollar company. I mean, they know a lot more about business than I do. But the way that they get information out about what they're doing through the Tribune is brilliant. Because it's not like on the nose. It's not just a press release to say, hey, look at us. Look at all the great stuff that we're doing. No, but people know. And then it filters, and it's a better message about all the good stuff Tan Holding does afterwards. All the work that's done with the NMIFA. Who is that really? It's Tan Holdings. It's Tan Holdings. Is there money from other people? Yes. But it's Tan Holdings. The reason why we have the FA, the reason why we have that great soccer facility, the reason why we've got the best supported sport here is because of Tan Holdings. And now they're losing the ability to even talk about it, even indirectly. That's the thing about it. They're losing the ability to talk about it indirectly by having those stories featured in the Tribune, right? And and that's just them. How about NIMSA, right? Northern Mariana Sports Association. Again, another strongly supported by Tan Holdings organization. Where are their press releases going to go? Is it going to be featured the way they want it to? It's terrible to lose a news outlet like that. Whether or not they print it, I don't think they need to print it. You don't lose relevance by not printing it. Although Amir will tell me, yes, you need to print. All right, I get it. But still, you got a company that's been around for 30 years. You got a brand established for 30 years. You've got employees. You've got a following. It sucks. And I don't think they should do it. So I know they thought about it. I know they considered it. But you know what? It's not the first time that they were about to make a bad decision with the Tribune and then they decided to change it. They could still change this. Sure, they come out with this business closure announcement. And they think that they've got other means of getting the story out, but nobody has to tell their story. Having just one newspaper here, I mean, think about it. The guys on the radio aren't news people. None of them. They are not news people. They're in the media because that's like what it counts as. But they're not news people. They ferry updates. And then when you're having an election, they might be the one who interviews you on a paid interview to tell you all great stuff about you if you pay them. But they are not independent. They're not journalists in any way, shape, or form. Nobody on the radio here. So you've got broadcast news on TV, on cable that nobody watches unless you watch it later on the internet. They're going to have to change. You've got Tomas Mangalonia with KUAM, who Tomas is the one that people care about. Nobody gives a crap about KUAM and Saipan. Not about what he's putting out or anything. I'm just telling you, like, as a brand, people aren't partial to KUAM. They love Thomas and respect Tomas. Like, that dude is a great reporter and does a great job. If he started the Mangalonia News Agency, everyone would follow it and nobody would care about KUAM. I mean, we would if we wanted to find out Guam news. But, like, the news that Tomas covers for the CNMI is important stuff. And he stays on it. You know, if he had a local focused outlet and nobody's buying him, you know, he's a real dyed-in-the-wool journalist. All digital. Nothing print. And he's everywhere. And he's the example for other reporters to follow. Right? The Tribune does not need to be printed. That's it. You cut that weight, that dead weight. You don't have to worry about your distribution. That's a vehicle. That's gas. It's personnel. The printing. You don't have to print it. Which means you don't have to have people burning the midnight oil. That means somebody in the middle of the night when some press release comes in, you can pop it out right away and have it go out. No. But they're not doing that. And that's a shame. And that's where they end up suffering on this. And they had the ability to change, but they decided against it. Let's read it. While the Saipan Tribune has delivered the kind of news stories our community deserved, damn right, shifts in media consumption pattern driven by advancements in technology have transformed how audiences access news and information. That's right. The increased availability of internet access and mobile devices has led consumers to demand instant information, prompting many industries to reshape their business models and move online. This change has redefined the need for the Saipan Tribune. In addition, unforeseen calamities in recent years and continuing local economic challenges have thwarted our best efforts to sustain business. We are compelled to make this exceptionally... Why? Why? Like, you can change. You could still have everybody doing everything. And your graphics artists will have a way easier job. So you would probably have to reduce that. You would absolutely have to reduce a lot. The sales team wouldn't have to be as big, because the cost of your operations wouldn't be so big. So you'd have, not like you want to cut your sales team because you still want to get money in there, but you have to learn how to grow, or learn how to change, I should say. Hey, it's like NBC, like all those radio shows at the beginning of the 20th century turned into TV folks. They had to figure out how to do all that stuff. But it was worth it to them, especially the news agencies. If they're dedicated to providing that kind of a service, you'll do it. It's tough. You know, my daughter, so when I came home last night, I talked about it. And, you know, like, did you see that? Kathy's like, I can't believe it. And my daughter, see, this is something I struggled with a little bit last night too, before I put it out. I looked at it when I got that, and I got it verified before I posted anything. And my daughter's like, but isn't that like somebody's news of being pregnant? And you told everybody that they were pregnant? I'm like, I feel like that too. But why? But if they're already releasing the info, it's happening, right? From that perspective. But that's emblematic of what they're talking about. That people have changed how they consume info. But they need a place to consume that info. That's why this thing started. 2 reasons. I started the NMI news service for 2 reasons. Well, a couple. But one of them was that I was sick and tired of the news being just press releases. You know, not like I have all the time in the world to get deep into all the stories and stuff. Investigate everything. But I can, you know, this situation, what I'm doing with you guys is a little different. It's not exactly that hard-hitting journalism on every single topic and all that other kind of stuff. That's what guys like the Tribune do. And we'll focus on certain aspects of it. There's an entertainment value to it. There is an absolute market for what they do. They just can't do it the same way. They can't do it the same way. And it would be more fun. Damn it. It would be so much more fun. They'd be more energized doing it the new way. Maybe it was just too hard to tell people we're keeping some of you and we're not keeping some of you because we're going in a different direction and we don't have space for all of you. We don't have a function for all of you anymore. Maybe that's it. But I feel like it's throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Really. Like the ads that you end up doing now for all the companies that want to do those Labor Day ads and Veterans Day ads and all that stuff, it becomes something of like a quick animation or a movie or a voiceover that runs. You just have to reimagine what you've got. Just redo the platform. They already got a great following. Why would you screw that up? Why would you waste it? It's just not worth it to them. I mean, I guess from a corporate standpoint. They've been around 30 years. I was looking at this last night. They've been around 30 years. We've been around a hot minute. They got so many people following them. They got so many people. I mean, yeah, change is good and change is necessary. You're right. But, like, I hate to see legacy folks leave. Here, let's pull this up again. I'm just going to go on their social media. They got like 25,000 followers, right? I think that's about where it's at. But they don't have it all figured out. They give great coverage to local soccer, right? By the way, think about that. Sports coverage is going to drop off. And why? Because there's nobody to push them. I just don't think they knew how to adapt. And if they didn't, like if they knew what to do, or if they didn't know what to do, it doesn't seem like they tried. It sucks. It seems like they're posting overtime now to try to get everything out. But like for the ads that they put out, like this is something I noticed last night. Like when they talked about the ads that went out for last night, like look at this post right here. Right, so let's do this. Right, so this is, Kim will love this, right? But it says, this is the Saipan Tribune's post. And they tagged the Kim for Congress page, right? And it says, please vote for this candidate. But that's the newspaper saying to vote for her. Is that the newspaper's role? Look at this one. This is the newspaper's thing too. Vote yes for judicial retention. I'm like, is that what the paper should be saying? I don't think so. But again, I think that is part of it. Like they did not evolve with that. You can run somebody's ad with that, but you can't endorse. I mean, I guess you can. You can do whatever you want. But here's another one. Here's another one. This one, by the way, except for saying vote number one, right? This is Ed Probst's, right? So they're buying ads with these guys. So that's how they're posting it. But you can't post their message in the body of your post. You can post that. Here's another one from our advertisers or something like that. Because otherwise it just looks like it's your post. You're the one who's saying it. Just my take. By the way, this post, too wordy. That's way too wordy for today's audience. You can't do that. Nobody's going to look at that. Old people aren't going to... The people who are going to read the most are older folks. And nobody wants to read that small-ass font. Can you blow it up on your screen? Yes. But you're reaching people the wrong way. If you want to reach younger people, then you make each one of those like a slide for IG or something. But you could do the same thing for your social media. I don't know. This is just me nitpicking. And when I was with Triple J, when we were considering what we were going to do for the motors, like had this exact discussion that these guys in the newspapers just haven't evolved to give you like, so like when I go, let's go to the Saipan Tribune's website right now, right? Here, let's just transfer it so you can see this. This is, and just a case in point, right? So Saipan Tribune. I bet my Saipan Tribune looks a little different than your Saipan Tribune, right? What do you see here and what don't you see here? What's the difference? If you guys go online, does your Tribune look like my Tribune? Maybe. It just depends. But their way of selling a banner ad, and this is not just for the Tribune, by the way. I'm not kicking the Tribune. The Variety is going to be the same way. You know, I'll hit the Variety on here, right? Marianas Variety. Same thing. Mine might look different than yours. Sure, this little guy is hardwired in there. But you're not seeing the same thing. Why? Because I don't want to be bothered by ads when I look at the newspapers. So I have ad blockers on there. So the traditional way of advertising these things or selling ads for online stuff, see, the issue is that these guys used the online version, both of these guys, it's not just taking on one of them. They're using it as just like a value-added service for the newspaper. No, the newspaper is the news service itself, right? Find creative ways to make your advertisers want you and be with you. That's it. Go that extra mile. Don't say no, that we can't do it. Let's figure it out. The newspapers absolutely should be reaching out, not the reporters, not the editors, not the publisher. Like, this should be like the sales team folks and the graphics folks should be reaching out to all of their legacy advertisers. We need to change. Let's figure out how we can be better for you. Just taking orders for graphics ads doesn't work anymore. Because if you're going to get away from print, you need to have a solution to grab people's eyes to tell them about your product. And there's fun ways of doing it. It's the exciting time. This is such an exciting time. We're watching, and I know this might even sound like an old take, but for me, this is an exciting time because at least here in the Marianas, well, even though they may have been doing this a lot earlier in the mainland and elsewhere, but the flow of information is so instant that it becomes an opportunity for journalists to package things differently. You don't have to just type out a story, and that's some of the best stuff was sitting over a laptop with some coffee in the corner of a coffee shop writing stuff. I remember doing all that and sending my stories off when I was in Japan, writing sports for the Tribune while I was there. Sitting on a bridge outside using free Wi-Fi in Kokura, Japan, drinking a beer with my laptop and typing out the sports story from the day before. It was one of the great things. Writing stories and all that stuff is still awesome. It's still an art that's necessary. We still need that kind of coverage. Hey, come on in. And and there's still a market for this. These guys are still great reporters. There's still a great opportunity for them. I haven't digested all of it yet. I had a night to sleep on it now. Like, man, you got such a great base. Why are you throwing it away? You got to build it up from scratch. We're making our way up there. But they could do this too. And they could have enthusiastic people doing this stuff. It would energize the whole excuse me. It would energize the whole Tan Holdings family to do stuff like that. I guess with everything else that's happening, they have to ask themselves, is it worth it? And they did. And the answer, I guess, was no. And that's a shame. Hey, Freddie, good to see you. Yeah, they should remain unbiased. Yeah, and Jim, I see what you're saying. They're owned by Tan Holdings, right? Can't be just a money thing, can it? By the way, that's another conversation I had with somebody. It was about money. That's not a problem for Tan Holdings. They got money. Okay, all that stuff is true. But, you know, they've been losing like 6 figures on Crown Plaza for a long time now. At least a couple of years. 6 figures. And I'm not just saying 100,000, like between 3 and 5. Good morning, Fabian. Good to see you. That's $300,000 to $500,000 a month because of lack of revenues. Did it help when they lost Hyatt? Maybe. Because they're the only other hotel that's available in DTS. All right, Lewis. So woulda, coulda, shoulda. They made a decision. It is what it is next. I get you. So I guess for me, it's a little bit different because I started my path on journalism in the CNMI with the Tribune. And it wasn't an easy in. The editor wanted me. The publisher said no. Or not the publisher ended up saying yes. But one of their executive level team ladies said no. And then J.P. Pangilinan, the guy who the building's named after, is the one who's like, no, let's give him a chance. That was it. I was with them for about 4 years before I started moving on and doing my everything else that's been coming my way here in the Marianas. So it means a little something more to me because I got to learn working with Mark, who's the editor over there now. But he was the sports guy. He taught me how to close the paper. He taught me how to write sports and the importance of coverage and consistency and and keeping up with all that stuff. And he's just a great guy. So it means a little something extra to me with the Tribune. And being part of the whole Tan Holdings thing, that was a good thing for me. And it was great. I covered so many different sporting events, and I got involved in so many different sporting events and different sports because of my time with the Tribune. So it's a little bit different for me. It means something else. All right. Hey, it is just about 8 o'clock, and we're 7:59 right now here on Tuesday morning. Early voting started today. Faux show. I know we'll end up talking more about the Tribune and all that stuff, but our first guest came in today. We're going to take a quick break, run a couple commercials, tell you about some of the great sponsors that we've got as well. I know, sponsors, right? So that's advertising, and it's digital, it's new, and all that other stuff. But I'll tell you what, man, I'm going to be struggling with this, and if you guys want to talk about this later, I'm all for it. If you guys want to call and tell us more about it. If we didn't have our guest today, we'd be doing a total a Tribune-a-thon. I might have lost you for a little while, though, Lewis, but you come back one day. You come back, Tina? Anyway. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll work on what's coming up next. Speaking of working on stuff, you can work on yourself by going down to Laddie Built 24-Hour Fitness because they're open 24 hours a day. It doesn't matter if it fits into your schedule. It works. They'll find a way. You'll find a way. Not having time doesn't count anymore when you're over there at Laddie Built 24-Hour Fitness. Go look for the tallest building in Chalankanoa. Right at the base of it, you're going to find the gray building with the green highlights where you can go in there. They've got the free weights, they've got the machines, they got the racks, they got the bikes, they got the treadmills, they got the spin bikes, they got the classes, they've got the certified trainers, they've got great gear, great supplements. The only thing they need is you. Go give them a call and tell them that we sent you when you go down there and take a look at that place because it's outstanding. Don't be outstanding on the street, not being in shape. Go in there and take your first step.
Persistence to build, be the inspiration, they witness approve. We do what we do by the rules in the book. Be a Lottie where discipline and vision is built. We lead by example, persistence to build. Be the inspiration, they witness approve. We do what we do by the rules in the book.
Got Medicaid? Paradise Dental's got you covered. We've got you covered from the moment you walk in the door with some of Saipan's best smiles. Medicaid covers your fillings, your extractions, and your checkups with no out-of-pocket expense. And Medicaid covers all of your x-rays without any additional cost to you. So remember, if you've got Medicaid, you're covered. Don't wait for a toothache. Call Paradise Dental today. Come here often.
If you're a person with a disability in the CNMI, you have certain rights that protect your ability to vote. This video contains some information about your rights and some resources available to you in protecting those rights.
What are some of your voting rights as a person with a disability? You have the right to vote regardless of your disability. You have the right to cast your vote privately without disclosing your vote to anyone. But you also have the right to ask for assistance as needed. Polling place workers should be ready and available to assist and accommodate your needs. CNMI law requires that you must be registered to vote in the CNMI. You can vote if you are a citizen or national of the United States, at least 18 years of age on the date of the election, domiciled in the CNMI, a resident of the CNMI, and have resided in the Commonwealth for 120 days, are not serving a sentence for a felony, have not been declared by the court of unsound mind, and have registered to vote at least 60 days before the election.
As a voter with a disability, you have the right to vote in an accessible voting place. That means you can get from your car through the door to cast your ballot without physical barriers or impediments.
Under the CNMI law, any voter who needs help in casting a ballot is entitled to request for assistance. A poll supervisor or the executive director of the Commonwealth Election Commission can provide assistance at the polling place, or you can exercise your right to curbside vote. However, whether you vote at curbside or not is your choice. No poll worker can force you to vote curbside. If you are unable to mark your ballot, you may select up to 2 people to help you cast your vote, except that they cannot be your employer or your employer's agent.
The Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 requires public entities to provide progress access, reasonable modification of policy, auxiliary aids and service where necessary to afford an individual with a disability an equal opportunity to participate in and enjoy the benefits of the services, program, or activity being conducted by the public entity.
Our primary goal is to have 100% participation of eligible voters in all elections, 100% polling place accessibility, and options for all voters who seek independent and private voting. If you want to know more about your voting rights, please contact the Northern Marianas Protection and Advocacy Systems Incorporated at 670-235-7273 or 74, or you can simply visit our website at www.nmpasi.org.
This video was brought to you by the Administration for Community Living and does not necessarily reflect their official views.
A little over 3 months ago, I declared my candidacy for CNMI's delegate to U.S. Congress. I wanted to give our voters a different choice, a choice more befitting the spirit of our islands, a choice who isn't beholden to big money party politics, and someone who would voice the collective interests of all who call the CNMI home. Service to our community starts with a dignified, even-keeled approach to every issue with all people all the time. Our next delegate needs to be someone with a proven, unblemished record of placing a high value on dignity and respect for all. Our next delegate needs to be someone focused on service above self. And our next delegate needs to be someone who is willing to represent all of our citizens, not just a select few. Our strength lies in our unity, and our community needs an honest leader who is committed to safeguarding and preserving our Commonwealth as a whole, not someone preoccupied with self-preservation through political gamesmanship. I know what it takes, and I have the proven experience to lead others in service to our community. My name is James Rayfand, and I want to be your voice in Washington. This November, when you step into the ballot box, please vote number 4. Please vote James Rayfand.
This ad was paid for by the committee to elect James M. Rayfand, and we approve this message.
All right, good morning and welcome back, Marianas. It is 8:06 in the morning, and we are here in Saipan. It's 83 degrees outside right now. Humidity is at 85% up at the Saipan International Airport. We're looking at a beautiful day. Mostly sunny skies, high near 87. Oh, is there a better day than that? No. We even got a nice breeze south out of the southeast, 10 to 14 miles per hour. Gusts as high as 22. So if you want to get out there on the water, let the wind take you places. It sounds like you could have some fun. Go down the PIC while you can. Get on one of those Hobie Cats and have the club mates take you around. Tonight's going to be nice too. Partly cloudy skies with a low near 77. Winds out of the southeast 6 to 9 miles per hour. You're looking live down there on Beach Road in Oleai right now. Things are moving along just fine. Traffic's not bad either. If you get out there and take a look, it's still pretty good. You want to see it? There you go. Even in Susupe, it looks good. I don't know how it's happening. Today's a magic traffic day. It's a little bit slow when you're over by the AK intersection. You can see it. It's not great, but it is moving along. It's just because there's only one lane to merge into, but every other direction is looking good. Even the Challen-Pauley-Arnold intersection on the CMG is looking pretty good right now. Things are moving, folks, and so are we as we move into the next segment of the show today. And I tell you what, it couldn't be better that when you... One of the things I love about this is that we get to see a lot of people, get to meet new people, and all the different things that they do. To me, that's like the biggest... cool thing about this. I love talking about the topics and about the news and all that other stuff, but it's really a treat when I get to have folks in studio and be a part of it. And PK, you are on the show with us today. I'm so glad to have you in here. Thanks so much for being in.
I mean, I'm a big fan of your show. I love the live feed outside. I make sure I look at your show before I go outside what to wear, right?
Well, PK, you do so much stuff. It's hard to even think of like what we could talk about. You can't narrow it down to any one little thing, but the thing that you're like, it seems like your big passion project that you've been doing here is trying to bring a lot of folks together in the business community.
Absolutely.
Who, they don't see themselves as being as big or having a voice if they go into some of the bigger organizations or something, but you're networking them. In fact, the Marianas Business Network, in fact, I don't have to be the one who's telling everybody about it because I want to hear from you because I just think it's brilliant, and it's great to see so many folks get together to talk about the pressing issues of the day that, again, normally don't feel like they're part of the bigger picture.
No, you're right, Brad. By the way, I'm really crappy when it comes to interviews, by the way.
Really?
I have a degree in mass communications, and I'm still crappy when it comes to people interviewing me. I'm more behind the scenes than I am in front of the scenes, besides doing public television, like food review in San Francisco. I'll talk about food all day, all night.
Deal.
That's all I'll do. I'll talk about food all day, all night. But when it comes to being interviewed, but you know what? I'm very appreciative that you have me in the studio. But the network is pretty much a grassroots organization that I thought about and started with a few advice, from some friends this past summer in July, that we wanted to help the local economy, but we weren't capturing the local businesses. I kept hearing about the bigger businesses like the hotels and like the big corporations, but there wasn't any really voice for the small businesses. When I mean small businesses, I mean like their yearly income was probably less than $30,000 to $40,000 a year.
Yeah.
Whether they were freelancers or they were just starting to be entrepreneurs, like doing side hustle. I wanted to really see that data, really want to capture them. And I also wanted to capture who were successful, because we kept hearing gloom and doom the whole entire time. And I knew that even though our economy is struggling, but there was other people that were not struggling, that maybe they could be a resource for us small businesses, see what they were doing, and how could we all help one another. My motto is always like, there's business for everybody, so we don't need to compete. Mm-hmm. And that's what I always, tell the members. And I think that's what our mission is really about referrals within our small businesses. And we welcome anybody that's looking to start a business, looking for mentors. And also we're looking for people just really looking for referrals, because small businesses are like the lifeblood right now of the CMI, right? Mm-hmm. Compared to tourism, because tourism is super low. And it's very difficult to really base everything on tourism. What's the percentage of tourism of the economy here?
Well, I don't know how it's calculated, but I can tell you that that's our economic driver.
Right.
It's our sole economic driver. We export nothing other than smiles and really cool island jewelry and stuff, and Herman's Bakery, right? Outside of that, we don't have an export market. We used to, but that's going back like almost 20 years now since the garment factory left, and that actually helped our shipping also, because we have to import everything, but the shipping costs were a lot lower because those ships weren't leaving empty. They were leaving full of all the garments back then. So that's it. We're tourism.
That was back in the day, but now today is 2024 going into 2025, right? And we need to support one another as a small business. I came to this island in 2020 during the pandemic, and I was stuck here in March, believe it or not. I was doing a 2-night trip from Guam. I was on route to Palau to do one of my bucket lists, right? And then I ended up being stuck here for 6 months. But I loved it. I loved the people, I loved the culture, and I absolutely loved the food. And I said to myself, I said, I work for a firm that does recruiting, and I could work anywhere in the world. And I said, why not come here, contribute to the economy? So I was here for 6 months in 2020. Then I picked up and left, and I went back to San Francisco, and I just gave away everything. Nobody had money, right, during the pandemic. So I just gave away everything. And I came back here, and I knew that, working at a firm that I knew that I could not recruit locally here because there was really nothing to recruit, right? And so I was working with clients, big corporations, but they were cutting, costs. So we were the first arm they would cut, for outside services. And then I was recruiting in South America, a lot of big companies in South America, and they were cutting costs as well too. So everywhere in the world that I was working with clients, they were cutting and cutting. And then and being here, and I said, you know what, it's time for me to contribute to the local economy and start a small business. That's when I started the Sincerely Saipan, the tour company that I launched this year, which is going to be full effect in 2025. I was just doing the legwork for this year for it and not fully launching it till next year. And also, starting one thing that I'll be looking at, this year, next year is really working heavily into our recruiting firm. So we reached out to several clients here on the island, and we worked with some government agencies, and we recruited for them, and we found some really great talent. And part of my job is to really promote the CMI, and why should they come here? Because it is so hard to recruit people to come on this island. Let me tell you this, it is so hard.
Really. Well, all right. So what's the hardest thing about getting people to come out here? First of all, like for me, I found out about this place from a guy who I was working with Homeland Security. He got orders to come out here, and then messaged me. He's like, "Dude, you'll love this place. You got to come out here." So. And I did, again, long time ago. So what's the hardest thing for getting people to come out here?
Well, first of all, the airfare. Because when they start looking into it, and if they want to leave the island and go back to the mainland, completely expensive. Mm-hmm. The other thing, too, is that we don't have potable water, right? And that's something where we take for granted in the States. And the other thing, too, is that we don't really have a much of structure here. I mean, like there's a lot of places that are defunct, like abandoned buildings. And we don't, it's an eyesore to them. Mm-hmm. And, there's a big difference between being a stranded tourist like I was to somebody living here. Because when you start really looking into the intricacies of things that are happening here on the island, you kind of open up your eyes. And, and one thing that I do with people that I try to recruit is I'm very open and honest with them. And I tell them, I said, we do have the best beaches, I think, in the world. And it's beautiful here. Absolutely beautiful. We have the best, outdoor sports, outdoor activities. But I also tell them, I said, but we have a lot of empty storefronts here. We have a lot of things that are eyesores. We have a big eyesore in the middle of Garapan that's called IPI. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if you drive down to Beach Road, you can see this big eyesore, right? And
you can see it from Tinian.
Yeah. My sister was a perfect example. She came to visit me, I think it was a couple of years ago, and she was just dreaming to come to Saipan. She's been all around the world and, been to every tropical island. And then she came here and she's like, and I thought about it, I'm like, I should just put you into like Kensington or PIC. Just stay there and just don't come out, you know.
You'll love it.
You'll love it. Just stay there, you know. And so she ended up like staying with me when I at Aquarius, which was like, you know, our beachfront hotel condos, and she loved it. But the one thing she really commented about was that how come there's a lot of buildings, storefronts that were empty, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, and she was telling me this, and I was getting a little bit frustrated with her and saying like, why are you coming here telling me about what you think when you should be my sister and just appreciate where I live, right?
Yes.
And enjoy what we have. And I mean, even though she did enjoy a lot of like the recreational activities here, and she loved the local people. Oh, she would walk up and down, you know, the beach behind Aquarius.
Oh yeah.
And the local people would talk to her, and she's like, wow, they're so friendly here. And they asked me questions. They thought my English was really good. I said, because they thought you were Chinese, right? Nice. Because she looked foreign, right? And so, but she really, you know, she really enjoyed it, but she really spoke about what, you know, the empty businesses. And that's what really led me to really start small businesses, you know, and really reach out and start the network. It's because of that, because we weren't doing anything about it, I felt. And as much as our, you know, current government was trying their hardest to do something about our local economy, but for them, they're there to legislate laws, right? To make laws. Mm-hmm. But we as the Commonwealth and the people here, we're the ones that have to make action. You know, walk the talk more than anything else. Instead of be a keyboard warrior, we need to go out there and do something. And that's what really, you know, I know that our network, when I started building it, was completely, you know, very virgin in the beginning, but it's grown. We had great speakers. We had, you know, Tina Azavan from Azavan Tax Law come speak. We had folks from Secretary Saffler from the CMI Department of Labor speak. Mm-hmm. We had CETA come by, talk about loans for small businesses. All these things that a lot of these small businesses really, really needed. We went out there and asked for, like, you know, experts to come in. And also, you know, like we tackle social issues. Social economic issues, and tomorrow we're going to be hosting the very what do you call it, controversial town hall tomorrow. You hear noise?
Yeah, you don't hear?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just one of the. Sorry, I like looking around. Sorry, so it was one of the vehicles going by with the Biba stuff. All the music. I thought it was a ringtone. I'm like, is that my phone going up? Sorry, I felt embarrassed.
I was like,
so tomorrow we're hosting. You were saying?
Yeah. So tomorrow, you know, as you've seen in the news and also in the media about Candace Mina, about her being a whistleblower at CUC. Mm-hmm. Let me just tell you this. No matter your economic status, no matter who you are or where you live, everybody's affected by CUC, no matter what, I would say.
Yeah.
And, you know, CUC takes a lot of our small business profits because we're paying a lot. And so all our profits, majority of profits are going to CUC. And so, you know, and we are anticipating what Candace has to say, but not only what Candace has to say tomorrow, but about what the rest of the community has to say. And that's why we open to the general public for tomorrow's forum. And we want to have you can't really fix problems if you keep completely like, you know, brush it under the carpet and just keep on going. I know as an activist, I've always been where we need to keep on pressing the issue until there's change, right? Keep on talking about it, put it in the media. Mm-hmm. And keep on, and no matter what, I mean, I feel so bad for certain things that when you come out and you speak against something big, and then you have every single person that tries to discredit you. I mean, I read the comments in the Variety and how they try to discredit this poor girl. I mean, you could tell they're either family or work with them, and so no matter what it was, it was discredit. That's what they do to whistleblowers. I mean, you know, if anybody, I've had an experience with CUC because I'll tell you this. Last year, or the year, I can't remember, last year, when the APA was fighting the CUC because they weren't filling positions. The CFO position, the executive director position, and those are major positions that the EPA were looking at them, right? So I reached out to them numerous times since last August, right? I mean, I've trails of emails, no word. And now I find out, of course, it was just they were doing internally, or they were working with another firm. I don't know who they were, probably not local. And they were reaching out to these candidates, and they ended up withdrawing because it was just preliminary, I guess. I mean, that's my opinion. It's my opinion. So, but I'm just saying, everybody, I think what we want to do, what I would like to do is really just help, our economy and help our local structure. What can I do? What can I do myself to help the CMI? And that's what, I started the Marianas Business Network, and this is why I'm here as well too. Like, what can I do?
So you mentioned about doing that. So let's talk about that tomorrow. So I've got it up on the screen so folks can see it. This is going to be at Last Shot tomorrow.
Yes.
From 6 to 8 in CK. And does it cost anything to get in there?
Zero. It's a town hall. We needed, we wanted a space that could accommodate a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're expecting from our people that come there, please be very civil. Very important that you be very civil. I know that it's a hot topic. And also that we have great dialogue as well. And that, that we refrain from bringing anything unnecessary to this town hall, whether it's, like I said, weapons or anything like that. I know it sounds, silly to say that, but it's a hot topic because there's a lot of people who discredit this poor girl. So I'm sure they're going to come in there, and we don't know. But I on the positive side of things, it's for dialogue. And I think we're all mature adults here on the island, and that we could have conversation about it.
Well, people are definitely feeling the pinch of the economic situation out here right now. And this is one thing that's definitely got people, galvanized, is like, people either not having the money or looking at the same rates and wondering, what the heck's going on.
I mean, have you looked at your bill? You have how much usage you have on one bottom part of it, and then the rest is 3 or 4 times what you're paying. And you think to yourself saying, my income that I make an income here, especially people who have very low income, I mean, their money is just going to pay CUC. I mean, it's this is why I feel like, a lot of our people have to go on public assistance because of this. It's because all their money is going to CUC. And it's the truth. I mean, there's nothing that I'm sugarcoating. Mm-hmm. But if there was a way that CUC could work with the public, with their consumers, maybe we will be not in this situation. Maybe our economy would be a lot better, believe it or not. I think that contributes to our low economy because of entities like this. I really do.
Well, I think it's so. I was about 10 years ago the public information officer for CUC, and they haven't had somebody doing that since. They do get some information out, but not like that full-on engagement. But I remember what it was back then. We had the LEAC, which turned into the fuel adjustment charge.
Right.
And the way we would explain that to folks is, so you've got the regular usage, and then you've got the fuel adjustment charge. So your usage is really what it takes to pay for the people, pay for the lines, pay for the poles, pay for the generators. So for the generation, the transmission, and distribution, right? All that stuff. And the fuel adjustment charge is really just to pay for the fuel, right? And the reason why that was something that would change is because the fuel prices change. The other thing about it, though, is that there's a bad debt component in there. And yes. I think that that's the part that people are getting more upset about, because there's so much bad debt out there from government agencies, and they're paying the rate structure. It's tiered, right? So you've got residential, commercial, and then the government rate. And the government rate is so high, right? And so when the government agencies, the people charged that amount, don't pay, it goes back into the overall rate for the ratepayer in the fuel adjustment charge. So it's a tough one. So it's like
it's tough, but also it's a monopoly. And so, there's no other, utility company out here that, to do a comparison with. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a really hard part about it, is because no matter what we say, Brad, about the FAC, whatever it is, it's still affecting everybody's pockets. And that's the biggest issue we have here. We see you can look at it, as Candace talks about it, mishandling, right? There's so much that's going on there. And as she speaks about it, everybody discusses her. She's only been there for a few months, whatever it is. No, she was in the inside. And every time you ask somebody about anything goes on, it's deflect, deflect, deflect. But how come is that we cannot ask questions? I mean, I've seen past recordings in legislation when they were being asked questions. It was like deflect, deflect. We talked about solar. What happened with solar? Was that grant that came out? They said they got that grant. But what I heard, that grant came out years ago, but now it's just put in the news that they just received a grant for a design of a solar farm. So, I mean, these are the things where, what we'll discuss tomorrow, but we want to hear from the general public about what can we do. We want to air the grievances about what's going on. It's really important about that. And it affects everybody. When something affects everybody and affects their pocket, and are you going to pay your CUC or feed your family? Because you don't have utilities. There's many that you see that they don't have utilities. That's a quality of life that people need to live. And that's why it's so important to have this forum. So important. It's not to be, going against the people there. It's not about the people who work at CUC. It's about the people who handle CUC. That's a big difference.
Well, I think a big part of that fuel adjustment charge, so I think it's a big conversation with the fuel adjustment charge, because no matter what, they have to pay for fuel, right? So
absolutely.
So there's always going to be a charge for the fuel, but all that other stuff that's in there, I think it almost works against us. Like when you think about that tiered rate structure, so what the government rate is so high because it takes into account all the businesses paying into it, now everybody else, all the taxes and everything. So it's basically designed to subsidize the residential rate, right? But the businesses pay a little bit more than the residential, but the government rate is designed to subsidize to make it a lower rate for everybody. But again, if you take the bad debt component out of the fuel adjustment charge, you're going to see a big difference, right? I mean, like CHC owes over $60 million.
Lots
right?
of money, yeah.
When I was there, they owed $32 million. So since I left in 10 years, it's an additional 10 plus million that they have not been paying. Not 10. It's an additional double in the past 10 years of them not paying their bill. And they don't have any, there's no recourse. They tried turning off the hospital and then never said.
Could you imagine that?
Right.
Could you imagine people who's on machinery, right? I don't know. Actually, I never stepped foot inside CHC. So I don't know, what they use in regards to life support machines. I'm sure they use medical equipment, right? But I can't imagine that you're coming in there and then you get shut them off. I understand that CUC needs to get their money, right? I understand that. But this is our only hospital on the island.
Right. So the question is, how can we support an agency that carries a $500,000 a month bill that doesn't pay for that $500,000 a month bill? We have to have a bigger conversation in the community about that, because that's what's contributing to that high balance of arrears.
Let me ask you this, Brad. Have we had experts come in from other islands similar to ours? I mean, I know Hawaii's not paying as much as we are. Guam is not paying as much as we are. I mean, have we had other experts come in and do a whole overall assessments? Really good experts that are outside independent ones, not the ones that people who know.
Here's here's the best answer I have for you on that. So again, 2015, they ended up getting a federal grant. It was $450,000 grant to do an analysis on rates and what the best possibility is that we can get for the lowest rate, the best performance for power generation out here, right? Lowest prices and all that. So they got this company called Leidos out of Texas.
Lighters.
Yeah, Leidos. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no. Leidos.
Okay.
That would be great. Yeah, lighters.
Lighters.
That'd be perfect. And so what they end up doing, they have this supercomputer that they type in all these factors to figure out what it's going to be. It includes things like the cost of oil over the past 25 years and the projected cost over the next 25 years. And then the cost of shipping that here and the cost of the type of power generation units and what type of oil. And then the alternative sources of energy. They talk about wind patterns if we were going to do like wind turbines. They talk about the solar patterns, and it included in this model is even weather patterns over the past 25 years and the reliability of sunlight and everything that you would have for all that generation. It also factored in like the cost and technology of battery and storage and all that stuff. So that's why this grant costs so much money, right? They have these experts doing all this stuff. They received this, and they said at that point, I think it was that we could go as a maximum, at least 10 years ago, based on that study, was 20% solar to start. And to have it reliable, because you have to have that backup ready to go all the time. You always have to have, like, that diesel has to be ready going all the time. Anyway, they do all this, and they did nothing with it. They basically scrapped it because the board at that time, they wanted to go in a different direction, and that was it. But then so much has changed in the past 10 years. Aside from all those other factors, it's a completely different board. There's a different executive director. They've had like 3 or more in the past 10 years since then. So when you've got, you would think that when you bring in some of those folks from off island and some of those experts that would contribute to it. But like that's a $500,000 grant that went nowhere from 15 years ago.
I think with the administration, I think they was it billions of dollars they put for infrastructure, and that included, the like solar, right? Mm-hmm. But I have clients right now that I work with. They're big solar clients, and so I know I recruit for executive directors and CEOs of these big. You're talking about billion-dollar companies here. And we have conversations about these things. And so I know a little bit, not too much. I'm not an expert on it, but the solar, but I know that we have the capability here. Mm-hmm. But they also, during my vetting with them, with these CEOs that I work with other big companies, the one question I asked is that who's responsible? Is your board responsible mm-hmm. to guide you? Is your executive team responsible to guide you? Who is it? And so, and they always said that it's always a recommendation, right? It's your team, it's your leadership team. That makes the decision, and it does a recommendation to their board. So can we do it here? Can we mirror a lot of things here? Because I hear this all the time in recruiting. The salary is too low here. Nobody wants to come here because the salary is way too low. But I find people who don't really care about the salary, they care about making a big difference, right? Helping the people here. And so what happens? These people get thrown to the wayside. And I think it's ridiculous. I think that's why, it's important that we do have this forum tomorrow, and that, we all come together and make it civil, make it a very open, transparent conversation. Ask Candace anything. She's open to it. And I think that if we can make a little bit of a dent, that's great. If not, then, we continue on the struggle, right? Mm-hmm. And the fight, and that's it. So...
Well, it gets to a point where if people are upset because they're not being heard, they're going to find a way to get heard. And it's a great opportunity to get everybody together. And it's just, part and parcel with everything that you're doing. You're getting people together.
And, and I think that we had some kind of, people say that, why are you having it at a bar? Well, first of all, Lasha is one of our members here. And Travis is very accommodating to us. And it was just a few days that we wanted to really have this forum, while we want to tackle this issue while it's still hot topic, right? Mm-hmm. And but a lot of like town halls starts at taverns back in the day and at bars. Mm-hmm. So that's where a lot of like I think the Declaration of Independence was probably or Constitution, right? Whatever thought of, and it's not about being inebriated But it's a space. It's a venue. It's a business.
It's a big space.
It's a big space, you know, and it's and it can accommodate a lot of people there. So I think that's why we chose it. Well,
you named it. Also, their members. So you're already supporting the members.
Absolutely,
that you've got.
Absolutely. And so and hopefully, if there's any more. I mean, I did a town hall last time with our delegates, candidates for delegates at Tom Yum Restaurant, and so they're a member as well too. And we had a lot of people there. So as much as I really believe, I love the South. By the way, I live in the South. I love, as much as I like Garapan, I love the South. The South is like, I think the South is gonna be the hottest place. I really do. I think it's gonna be like this whole sort of like tourism, everything, businesses. I want business to really build in the South because we have really pristine beaches there. It's so untouched.
I love it. So like down there behind, now it's FMS, but it used to be called, what used to be San Antonio Elementary School. The beach back there is outstanding.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It is a total local beach. It's not like if you're not local, you can't go there, but it's not like one of those promoted business beaches, for tourists and stuff like that. But it's amazing. That whole area is really nice and everything as well. Man, it's a good spot. You're right about the South. I love it down there as well. I got family who's over there. It's a great spot.
Well, Brad, I appreciate you having me in studio. I know that you were talking about the Tribune earlier.
Yes.
That's so sad. Like I said, it's having just a few, papers on islands to see them go. But I'm hoping maybe NMI News Service could probably take over and do a publication.
Well, I will never do, that's for sure. But the idea of just having stories and having, actual journalism, that's something I would want to foster. I'll tell you, I started the conversation last night. I'm like, hey, let's get together with some of their reporters and let's see if we can't figure it out about how we can still let you be a real journalist and then figure out how we can make that work for us.
Well, didn't you do the breaking news when Julian Assange came here?
Yeah.
You were like this roving reporter with your truck and running after him. I thought that was so interesting.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's like, go Brad.
Yeah, it was fun. The whole thing, that was a great experience. Absolutely loved it. I wouldn't have wanted to have been doing anything else with my life other than what I was doing right then. And these guys who are working at the Tribune, that's what they want to do too, right? So they're chasing their stories. They've got their beats that they've got to follow and all that other stuff. But now that's a news outlet that's just not going to exist.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe in investigative journalism?
Yeah.
Do you think that we should have it here?
Absolutely.
Instead of just not vetting stories, not vetting background checks or anything like that. Do you think that we should be doing that?
Absolutely.
And do you think that we should be investigating certain things that are happening on the island that might be beneficial to help us, right? Okay.
No maybe about all that stuff.
You think that some of the press here are afraid because that some sponsorships won't do any sponsorships, that they go into deep dive investigation?
I think that it is. I've thought about that a lot, by the way. I mean, even the origins of the different news organizations, where they came from and how they got started. But I would say in a community our size, it's difficult to not have that influence some of those decisions. I think that some of those decisions by some of the other folks have been made in that with knowing that, hey, I don't want to ruffle everybody's feathers about this. Because the Marianas Variety got shut out from the government about 20 years ago. They said, nope, we're not doing any ads, no JVAs, nothing in the Marianas Variety, because that governor didn't like the coverage that they were giving him. And that's terrible. Oh, hold on. You want to put that on just for a sec? These headphones? All right. Hey. Hey, Peeling. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, brothers.
How are you? Thanks for calling.
You guys are having a beautiful morning.
Yep. Oh, sorry. I maybe turn it the other way. Is it turn there? Is it not? Oh, and flip it. Hold on 1 second, Peeling. We're getting our headphone situation.
I'm not technical. Oh, okay.
There we go. So we're just figuring out headphone situation, but PK can hear you now. And anyway, so thanks for calling in. What's going on?
Yeah, no, I just want to share some comments in regards to CUC and our government.
Okay.
You know, CUC and our leaders, maybe clearly they know what's going on, but CUC has been duping the regular people, you know, people that are suffering. It's been a long time, and we should support Candice for coming out and speaking up, because you know, government has been duping us, not only with CUC, you know, there's other departments too, even like DPL, and even the government taking private people's land based on land compensation, you know. They've been duping the people. And it's about time people like Candice and Fabian in the LSU and so many other people that are speaking up now. It's long overdue. It's long overdue. You know, CUC could have improved way back, you know, maybe like 10 years ago, because CUC has been receiving federal funds to improve power plants, to improve water service. You know, they've been getting a lot of money, and that surcharge thing, it's been how many years? How many years?
Yeah.
And nothing is improving. Nothing is improving. Nothing.
Frustration. I hear a lot of frustration.
Yeah, the power plant is on the brink of disaster. Anytime, it's just gonna shut down itself.
Yeah, doesn't it feel like sometimes like that was part of the plan? Because if you let it happen like that, you can declare a disaster or declare an emergency, and that gets rid of all the red tape, and you're able to make those decisions quicker. It almost feels like that's part of the plan.
Yes, and you see, not only the federal funds that goes to CUC, the federal funds like the ARPA funds. There's so many funds that are coming in, capital improvement funds, or you name it, different kind of funds. And you know, it's sad that we're still suffering after all those millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. And we're not blind, when we're not stupid. The people of the cinema are not blind and stupid. The only thing that's improving are the cronies. Yes, it's the truth and it's the fact. Look at them and their way of life. They're the ones going up there, while everybody else is still down there. And they have to have the understanding that there are more people that are less fortunate. And those less fortunate people are the ones putting them in office. There are no poor or middle class citizens than rich people. We are not blind. We are not blind. And it's about time on a small island. How in the world that we cannot move up? We always fail. Everything that comes in that's supposed to be good, fail. Because of greedy. It's about money. It's about money, but who's chasing the money? Because The money is not going to the people. It's going somewhere. Somewhere. And it's not doing any good. Thank you. That's my share for today.
Hey, well,
And I love you guys. I love you, Marianas.
Hey, and we love you, P-Link. Thanks. I'll tell you where that money's not going. It's not going to us. But if we can get some, we'll take it.
Thank you. You guys have a good day.
Are you going to be at the forum tomorrow?
No, sir. I'm here on Guam.
Oh.
I'm here on Guam. And before I close, and I end my comments, if I can, I go up a little further and try and open up a can of worms. Look at on land compensation, where the government comes in and takes a private property, and they come in and they destroy whatever that was there. You know, the richness of the land that belongs to the local owner, the people, and they come in and then we take them to court, because it happened to my grandpa and my grandma. The government came in and my grandma took them to court. She won the court. The land is worth $35 million. Since 1991, she won at the court. They pay her on 2014. And the land is worth $35 million. But they waited until the government is depleted of funds. That's when they touch the retirement pensions money. So they had to bring in the casino to save life. But with the government, what they did is they settled 1.3 million and the land is worth 35 million. But if you owe the government, you have to pay them what you owe them. That is crazy. That is crazy, and our politicians need to wake up and stop doing these stupid things. Oh, they're the one making the law, and we the people have to follow the law. It doesn't exempt them.
What precinct is that?
My grandpa's land is in Rota, where they built the NMC college.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's that case. That's that case. But you see, no, Brad, our government, and they cannot even. We're suing them for the destruction of the land and the value of the land. Since 1991, we won that at court. The family waited that long. 2014 is when they decided they were going to pay. But they waited until they're going to come around and tell us there's no money. And that's the only amount that we can give, 1.3. And then 2 weeks later on, they pay somebody 20 million. You know, we've been duped. They're selecting who to give more and who to give less. It's sad. It's sad, and that's why I'm angry with our government, with some politicians. And that's why I changed my way of selecting who's going to sit down on that chair. But the people that we're going to put on that chair has to represent the people. Because they were not born. And when they come to a certain age that they're going to go, they're already blessed for that chair. No, the people voted for them. Do your job, politicians. Do your job. Accordingly, people to act in a community. Don't expect us to act like angels and you like devils. And we're not going to, hey, stop acting like that, like a devil. We need to speak up. And it's time. Thank you, Brad. for allowing me to come in. And, sir, thank you, too.
Thank you.
You guys have a good day.
You too, Piling.
too.
Hey, thanks so much for calling. Love it every time you give us a ring. All right, that's Piling Gazzetmo. He's over there in Guam, and he even paid us a visit when we were broadcast from Guam a couple of weeks ago and everything.
You know, eminent domain is real, huh? Mm-hmm. That is real. You know, when the government comes in, just takes your land that's been there for centuries or whatever. Eminent domain.
And it's about the compensation for it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're supposed to be able to get it back, and that's the big thing that he was talking about. That, hey, they took it and they developed it and they did all this stuff, but they only gave us a tiny percentage of what it's valued at. And I totally understand that. I can understand why you'd be upset.
And you know, he makes a valid point about like having the right representatives. You know, representing people like him, his family, and not all representatives are miracle workers, right? They're there to advocate for the people, but it's also a big body, right? And everybody has to agree. And there's always one decision maker, right? At the end of the day. So, I mean, I feel for him. And I think that, you know, his voice should always be heard. He should continue to speak out. And his vote counts.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I know there's people who feel so disenfranchised. They feel that their vote doesn't matter. What do I got to do? I don't even need to vote because they're not gonna. It's not gonna make any difference anyway. It's gonna be the same kind of people. But no. But that's the thing. Doing something about it does make a difference. And by like things like the town hall, getting the businesses together, getting all those kind of things, helps people realize the power that they really have. That they actually can make a difference. And that's one of the best things about Saipan is that a couple of people can make a massive difference in our community. And, you know, you get enough people like Piling talking about that stuff to share those same kind of common struggles that other people are going through, and they get together and they have real power in that.
Yeah, they do. The people are the voice. They are definitely the voice. It's not the politicians. It's the people. Because remember, that's why we have terms, right? That's why they expire, whoever gets voted in. And I'll tell you, some of the incumbents here that are incumbents right now, some have come to my aid with our small businesses, where I've gone through so much bureaucracy, through like whether it was zoning. Oh my gosh, Brad. If I didn't have some of them that came to my aid who actually went with me and had them explain to me, which they couldn't explain to me, because it was so much red tape, right? Mm-hmm. Those are the ones that I'm voting for, you know, and the ones that I'm endorsing. But, you know, but it's each to his own. Your vote counts, and whoever you want to vote for, it's going to be your voice. And you should always be on them once they get elected into office.
Yep. Well, I'm with you 100%. Thanks for everything you've been doing. It's great getting to know you a little bit more the longer you've been here over the last few years. And, this is a big deal. I'm looking forward to. I'd love to be there tomorrow. Just can't. It's the Halloween at my kid's school.
Yeah,
is tomorrow night.
We were saying that you were gonna. I guess it was miscommunication that you were gonna broadcast it live. So, but it's but yeah, I know that you can't be there tomorrow, which is unfortunate. But you know, family comes first.
Oh well, yeah. I only have so many of these left. You know,
Yeah.
I've only got a few more of these with the kids, especially while they still want me around. You know, like that's even a smaller number.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I'm there all the way. But you know, Dan, come on, no, don't kiss me before you know, like all that kind of stuff. So we're not there yet, but we're so close. We're
Right.
almost done with that. So.
But we appreciate. I appreciate the platform you gave me today to speak about the Marianas Business Network and also about you know, our social injustice issues that, you know, part of the network that wants to help, you know, the common people, right? Not the common people, just people in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our residents here. So hopefully your viewers are, you know, all 60,000 of them, you know, you know, that would to attend tomorrow's forum. But otherwise, if anybody wants to email me about be part of the network, it's marianasbusinessnetwork@gmail.com is our email, or you could call me directly. No prank calls, 670-286-3010, 670-286-3010, or you could WhatsApp me I'm more apt to answer through that.
Okay, so Marianas Business Network at gmail.com.
Yes.
All right, and 670-286.
3010.
Okay, so not 206, 286.
No threatening messages. Keep it classy.
All right, so that contact information's in the comment section now for Marianas Business Network. And so thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you, Brad. All right, and I look forward for more conversations.
Yep. All right, folks, what we're going to do, we're going to be taking a quick break. We'll come back with a little bit more today to get into some of the other stuff. But thanks again to our guest, PK, for coming in today. And we'll be back in just a little bit while we get you some messages from our sponsors.
If you're a person with a disability in the CNMI, you have certain rights that protect your ability to vote. This video contains some information about your rights and some resources available to you in protecting those rights.
What are some of your voting rights as a person with a disability? You have the right to vote regardless of your disability. You have the right to cast your vote privately without disclosing your vote to anyone. But you also have the right to ask for assistance as needed. Polling place workers should be ready and available to assist and accommodate your needs. CNMI law requires that you must be registered to vote in the CNMI. You can vote if you are a citizen or national of the United States, at least 18 years of age on the date of the election, domiciled in the CNMI, a resident of the CNMI, and have resided in the Commonwealth for 120 days, are not serving a sentence for a felony, have not been declared by the court of unsound mind, and have registered to vote at least 60 days before the election.
As a voter with a disability, you have the right to vote in an accessible voting place. That means you can get from your car through the door to cast your ballot without physical barriers or impediments.
Under the CNMI law, any voter who needs help in casting a ballot is entitled to request for assistance. A poll supervisor or the executive director of the Commonwealth Election Commission can provide assistance at the polling place, or you can exercise your right to curbside vote. However, whether you vote at curbside or not is your choice. No poll worker can force you to vote curbside. If you are unable to mark your ballot, you may select up to 2 people to help you cast your vote, except that they cannot be your employer or your employer's agent.
The Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 requires public entities to provide progress access, reasonable modification of policy, auxiliary aids and service where necessary to afford an individual with a disability an equal opportunity to participate in and enjoy the benefits of the services, program, or activity being conducted by the public entity.
Our primary goal is to have 100% participation of eligible voters in all elections, 100% polling place accessibility, and options for all voters who seek independent and private voting. If you want to know more about your voting rights, please contact the Northern Marianas Protection and Advocacy Systems Incorporated at 670-235-7273 or 74. Or you can simply visit our website at www.nmpasi.org.
This video was brought to you by the Administration for Community Living and does not necessarily reflect their official views.
A little over 3 months ago, I declared my candidacy for CNMI's delegate to U.S. Congress. I wanted to give our voters a different choice, a choice more befitting the spirit of our islands, a choice who isn't beholden to big money party politics, and someone who would voice the collective interests of all who call the CNMI home. Service to our community starts with a dignified, even-keeled approach to every issue with all people all the time. Our next delegate needs to be someone with a proven, unblemished record of placing a high value on dignity and respect for all. Our next delegate needs to be someone focused on service above self. And our next delegate needs to be someone who is willing to represent all of our citizens, not just a select few. Our strength lies in our unity, and our community needs an honest leader who is committed to safeguarding and preserving our Commonwealth as a whole, not someone preoccupied with self-preservation through political gamesmanship. I know what it takes, and I have the proven experience to lead others in service to our community. My name is James Rayfand, and I want to be your voice in Washington. This November, when you step into the ballot box, please vote number 4. Please vote James Rayfand.
This ad was paid for by the committee to elect James M. Riffen, and we approve this message.
Persistence to build, be the inspiration they witness approve. We do what we do by the rules in the book. We be a lottie where discipline and vision is built. We lead by example, persistence to build, be the inspiration they witness approve. We do what we do by the rules in the book.
AP News, I'm Jackie Quinn. Authorities in Vancouver, Washington and Portland, Oregon say they think 3 cases of ballot drop boxes being set on fire or having an incendiary device are the work of the same person.
We're concerned about that intentional act trying to affect the election process.
Vancouver's interim police chief, Troy Price, on K2TV says some 300 ballots were ruined when a drop box was set on fire. It happened earlier this month, too.
One of the ballot boxes was smoking, and we found a device there next to the ballot box.
Donald Trump is campaigning tonight in Georgia, a key swing state in the election. Vice President Kamala Harris has a rally in Michigan. President Joe Biden, early voting today in Delaware, blasted Trump for that New York City rally that insulted people from Puerto Rico and aired sexist and rude remarks.
The single most consequential thing about a president is character. And he puts that in question every time he opens his mouth.
The Pentagon confirms North Korean troops are in Russia. Our Sagar Magani reports.
We believe that the DPRK has sent around 10,000 soldiers in total to train in eastern Russia.
Pentagon spokeswoman Sabrina Singh says the U.S. is now more worried Russia intends to either use those soldiers in combat or to support combat operations in the Kursk region. New NATO chief Mark Rutte said earlier some have already deployed there.
A dangerous expansion of Russia's war.
President Biden echoed that.
It's very dangerous.
Sagar Magani, Washington.
Apple says it's releasing a free software update that will inject its first dose of artificial intelligence into its iPhone 16 lineup. This is AP News. This year's Rockefeller Center Christmas tree will travel to New York from West Stockbridge, Massachusetts.
Rockefeller Center in New York City is getting ready for Christmas.
I like Christmas. I like a real Christmas tree. I like a mall Santa Claus that lets me sit on his knee.
Last year's Cher was the star of the show, along, of course, with a giant Christmas tree. The Norway spruce will be cut down November 7th in West Stockbridge and travel roughly 140 miles, arriving November 9th in Manhattan. It will be lit during a live TV broadcast on December 4th. Julie Walker, New York.
Federal investigators have launched an operation at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. That's where Sean Diddy Combs is incarcerated. The operation is to ensure the safety of staff and inmates. I'm Jackie Quinn, AP News.
All right, welcome back, Marianas. It is 9:06 a.m. We just got you the latest update from the Associated Press. Yes, we blew past some of the other stuff because we had a guest in studio, and it was a lot of fun. I'll tell you, it's like one of the highlights is being able to have people come in, but I love it when I get to have you guys call in and talk about the things that are most important to you, because that's what this is. Really, if you're not calling in and talking about what's important and telling us what you want to talk about, then you're missing out on a great opportunity. It's not just, hey, believe me, I can fill space, but I love talking about the things that you guys think are important and the issues that you think are important and digging into those kind of things. That's what makes this an awesome life for me, being able to do that kind of stuff. So I'm telling you guys, it is not just lip service. I freaking love it. It makes everything else, it makes it rewarding and worthwhile that we're doing all this. All right, it's 86 degrees outside right now. And that's just about what we're looking at to max out at today. Who knows if we could blow past it. We're looking at a high near 87. Winds out of the southeast throughout the day, 11 to 14 miles per hour. Gusts as high as 22. So if you want to get out there on the water and you got something that involves a sail or a kite, today's going to be a great day. Tonight's going to be pretty pleasant as well. Expect some isolated showers, but nothing too crazy. And some light winds. It's going to dip down to about 77. I'm telling you, last night it was great. No air conditioning at all. I slept like a baby. And looking forward to more of that today. Speaking of today, first of all, early voting is today. Next week, Tuesday, is when the general election takes place. And the governor just put out a press release just to let you know, to all of the department heads and everything, just as a reminder that Election Day is a holiday. So there it is. It's pursuant to CNMI law. If an election is held on a day other than Saturday or Sunday, the election day shall be a legal holiday within the Commonwealth or the senatorial or election district. Accordingly, November 5th, next Tuesday, it's our general election, and it is a legal holiday. Note that the schools and government offices are closed. So next Tuesday, schools and government offices are closed. All department and activity heads must ensure that essential public services are not disrupted. So there will still be police. There will still be firefighters. Okay. There will still be utilities that happen. So it's a nice way of saying all the essential employees are still working. But I'll tell you, with us, all of you guys are essential. All right. Anyway, that's what's going on. Early voting today, it's already happening. People are already out there casting their ballots. I know at least a couple of the candidates went down there and did that today, and they're going to be out there throughout the day. I plan on going down there to vote today, too, just so I can get that over with. Vote for my folks, and then enjoy, hopefully, a tuna sandwich. Someone got a tuna sandwich down there? Because that's what I don't vote for the tuna sandwich, but I love the tuna sandwich. You're going to hear it a lot. I'm a tuna sandwich fan. Let's see if there's anything else that we're going to get to just before we get out of here. Oh, the other one is today, 2 o'clock, is going to be the first time that we do the podcast for NM Posse. I'm really excited about this. It is it's something that we're going to be doing once a month. We're going to be using our platform with the NMI News Service, and we're also going to be using their social media channels as well to broadcast it. But it's going to be on today at 2 o'clock. Hold on, let me open it up here real quick. Today at 2 o'clock, we'll be broadcasting live here and on the NM Posse Facebook page. I know we talked about their page yesterday to go out there and give them a little bit of love, but it's going to be a great thing. I can't tell you how excited I am that we get to do this with them because it's part of what we really want to do. We want to do stuff for people that we love, and we love those guys at NM Posse helping people advocate for themselves. So 2 o'clock, you'll see us live over here as well. And then also tomorrow, we're going to have a special session in the morning as well, but we'll tell you about that tomorrow morning. That's a tomorrow morning issue, right? All right, so anyway, that's what we got today. I want to say thanks to all you guys for tuning in, as you always do. We'll see you this afternoon for the podcast with NM Posse. I tell you, this is going to be great stuff. It's going to be Advocacy Amplified, the NM Posse podcast. Today at 2 o'clock, we'll be able to take your calls and everything for that as well. So if you have questions for the folks from NM Posse, well, put them in, write them down, and get ready to bring them up later. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys in just a couple hours.
Good morning, Marianas. So many things we got to discuss. Happy day, Tirawami and greetings to road to Guam, stopping in Tinian for all your island news. From a beautiful place with Pacific views, it's always so much fun on Good Morning Marianas.
So hard to keep our family strong. They struggled throughout the years to teach us right from wrong. Father works to make ends meet, to keep the roof above our heads. Mother sorts the bills to pay, cooks our meals and makes our bed. This song is for you, Mom and Dad, from all your kids. We wanna tell you we love you, thank you for the things you did. It's hard for us to show how much we really care.